Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Pranams. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are now reviewing the ideas of legendary Mridangam Vidwan Palani Sri Subramaniam Pillai. Before we get into the class of the nuances of his techniques, let me start this class with the Thirukkural. Sidai vidattu ulhar uravor pudai ambin pattuppadu moonrum kaliru. What is the meaning of it? யானை அம்புகளால் புண்பட்டாலும் மனம் தளராமல் தன் பெருமையை நிலைநிறுத்தும். Even if the elephant is attacked by the arrows, it actually stands tall by its power and courage. Similarly, ஊக்கமுடையவர்கள் தம் உயர்வுக்கு அழிவு வந்த போதும் மனம் தளராமல் தம் பெருமையை நிலைநாட்டுவர். Even if a person with high self-esteem, if they go down in their life, still they will have the self-esteem high by their characteristics. That's the meaning of this Thirukkural. With this good thought, I am entering into the class. Today we are going to continue the Rupaka Thalam exercises, the basic ones of legendary Mridangam Vidwan Palani Sri Subramaniam Pillai. In the last class we saw Takka Kitataka Gugunana Talangu. Kitataka Gugunana Thalangu. We saw this in Dimmi Dimmi Taka Dimmi Dimmi Tak, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Dimmi Dimmi Tak, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Dimmi Dimmi Taka, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Kitataka Gugunana Talangu, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Dimmi Dimmi Tak, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Kitataka Gugunana Talangu, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Dimmi Dimmi Taka, Dimmi Dimmi Taka Kitataka Gugunana Talangu. Gugunana Talangu, Gugunana Talangu, Kitataka Gugunana Talangu Ding, Kitataka Gugunana Talangu Ding, Kitataka Gugunana Talangu Ding. Like that we saw. Today we are going to see the further lesson of Dhimtha Dhimidinaka. The anchoring, again you should not forget, you have to anchor this middle finger, that's the key. Here the specialty, Dimita Dimi Junutha, he plays as Arachapu, Dhi and Arachapu. Dimita Dimi Junutha is played Arachapu, Dhi and Arachapu. That's the specialty. And then the reduction, you have to play 3 times because the 2-2 line. That is 2 beats into 3 times. Also, Dhim ta dhimi junnuta. You can also play it as 1.5 and 1.5. Dhim ta dhimi junnuta. Dhim ta dhimi ta. Ta dhimi din. dimmi, this arachapu, di and arachapu. Because if we look at the anchoring, nam, dim, arachapu, all these gets beautiful sounding effect. Like Sarvalagu, but interestingly, he poises with a 1.5, 1.5. Dim, tad dim, din, tad dim, jun, tad dim, din, tad dim, jun. It's intricately poised. Like an Antarvahini, like Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, like the Saraswati as it flows hidden, he introduces a 1.5 pattern in between. Then, dim, tad dim, jun, effortlessly along with the sequence. That's the beauty. Dim ta dim junnu ta dim ta dim junnu ta dim ta dim tam 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 tam. So that's again a very graceful and aesthetic approach as Shimbai Vaidyanatha Bhagavata earnestly requested him to change his, adapt his mathematical ability into an aesthetic model, and it reflects here very beautifully. The same thing as he continues. When he introduces Dingadakadim, he padded off with pads of the Tarikataka. Then tadim darigadaga. Din tadim 1.5, 1.5. So if you tadim darigadaga it's 1.5 beat. It's 2 beats. So when you sandwich a 2 beats and a 1.5 beat, it gives a completely different complexion of the way you take the Sarvalagu to a different level. So that's the nuanctic way of expressing the sequence. That's what he did, and that's why we keep hearing his music always again and again, and it never fades away from your ears. That's the beauty of it. Then you finish off with the it plays a simple small, very short Tirmanam, and then brilliantly goes into the next sequence. The next sequence is much more interesting, where you is going to introduce, and look at the way he is using the dum combination. You have to observe this. So when you start, it starts at the beginning, and towards the end, that's how it starts. And then second one, the second dim with dim, there it pads off, and it gives a different feel of the same thing. If you play the same, it's prosaic, but you want to make it poetical, you have to combine the dum in a different place, and it gives a poetical effect. And very beautifully he finishes off with Tirmanam, and that's the real aesthetic way. You can use all these patterns, especially when you for your song accompaniments. It goes brilliantly along with the song. Now, the same thing, the Tadin Tirigada, we will see how the same thing he takes it to the next form. Again, a few aspects. The Toppi combination, you have to be very careful. Anchoring is important. You have to anchor it well. That should come. Okay, these are all the key strokes of Palani and the style of Palani. You have to constantly, you can when you have got used to this sort of anchoring, it's very difficult for you to adapt to this. But you need to constantly get used to both the forms much better way. Even if you look at Tiruchi Sankaran sir, while he had learned continuously from his master like this. But if you had observed him, he also anchors with this finger and he tries to play. Because that's the proficiency of an artist to go about and then mastering a particular skill. So, though you may have one unique style of anchoring this, it's actually easy for the people who have learned this way. But when you want to play the Palani effect, you have to have this finger. Well, predominantly when the Palani school embellishes is you're using of this also gets padded up. You need the right strength to play this. This also gets the sound, and with the mic you get the finesse of the sound, and that's the beauty of their school. Then, as you play this, they also can play with Tagatari Kedega. When you play this Tagatari Kedega, the specialty you use the Arachapa, not the traditional Tagatari Kedega with the Muru chopper. Arachapa is very prominently used by his school. These are very useful strokes as you play in Rupakataram, Aditaram and Sarvalagu to play for these songs. Let's see some more interesting ideas. Let's see the slip or the traditional reduction, what had been carried out in Palani School of Thought. Deen, takita dee, takita dee, takita din, that deen, takita dee, takita dee, takita takadina dee. So that's the form. If you look at the form, if you decipher, ding, takita dee, takita dee, takita dinta. That's how it's spread. The another way of playing the same thing is dim takita dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita dim, that dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita takadin, dim. That's one form. Dim tarikata dim, tarikata dim, tarikata dim, tarikata dim, that dim, tarikata dim, tarikata dim, tarikata dim, tarikata dim. So these are form of reduction. Then dim, takita dim, takita dim. You can reduce it as well further for 3 beats, and then dim, takita tangita tarikata dim, takita tangita tarikata dim, takita tangita tarikata dim. Then you can go with the ferens. The mora is a little different. So it gives an embellishment of a 9-beat phrase, first phrase. So it comes for a 36 akshara mora. So it's little complex, but it gives a very crispier way of approaching the Rupatala mora. Typically what we used to play, along with the that's a very traditional way of doing it. Sampradayama vasikadu. Tappu kediyadu. But when you want to give a twist, it doesn't it gives a sort of a mixture of feel. So it comes halfway, 4.5 beats, and then for 4.5 beats he has combined that. He has made these puzzle pieces and combined it. That is Palani school. Oh, so when you play together, like that he plays. But the beauty of Palani's school comes out by changing this takadina gunada tangada tangada. When you change the takadina with gugunana, that it stamps the Palani school. Like that. So this Gugunaka, that is a speciality of his phrase. So what we saw as part of the reduction part is the way he has used being, takita digi, takita dinta. That's, it makes a peculiar combination. Takita thaga, takita din. Next one, dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita dim, takita din. That's complete, slightly different, but you may, when you closely watch, there's a difference. And that's how he makes it trickier. You have to observe and find out what he's trying to do. At the outset, you will find he's playing the same. It's not so. So that's the artist's brilliance. What he changes, you may not know, but there will be something unique in it. And that's the uniqueness of his school. With this good thought, I'm concluding this class. I will see you in the next class with Misra Chapu Thalam approach of legendary Mridangam Vidwan, Palani Sri Subramaniam Pillai, how he has established in his basic lessons. Let me conclude this class with the Thirukural. Ullam Giladavar Yeidar Volahattu Valliyam Gennum Serukku. What is the meaning of it? Ukkamillada Arasar, Ivvolahattarul Yam Vanmayudayum, Vallal Endru Tammai Tam Madittalai Perar. What is the meaning of it? Even though the king is highly potential, has large amount of wealth, and he has a lot of protection and forces, man forces behind him, If he lacks the enthusiasm, he will not get that respect. So the enthusiasm is the key in every person to do things and effectively and be successful. With this good thought, I'm concluding this class. I will see you in the next class with much more interesting ideas of legendary Mridangam Vidwan, Palani Sri Subramaniam Pillai.